Hi, fantastic fourth graders. So this is Eureka Math, Module 1, Lesson 3 with Mrs. Fuska. So today our learning target is I can look at a multi-digit number and determine that the digit to the left is 10 times greater than a given digit. Okay, we talked a little bit about this in class today. Where do the commas go? And we're going to walk through this slide together. So let's look at this number, 764, comma, and we would read that. Remember where the comma goes, that's where we say the word. 3,467. Okay, let's look at the next one. 876, comma, and we would read that 45,678. Remember that we can go every 3 digits. We will put a comma. We can do that forever to infinity. Okay, so let's look at the next one. 590, comma, 043, comma. So we would read this 2,340,095. Okay, let's go on to the next one. We have 994, comma, 430, comma. We would read this number 300,034,499. Okay, you try the last two, and then in your book, there is a section, the very first section. Go ahead and stop the video and go and put your commas in and make sure you know how to say these numbers after you put the commas in. Okay, in your Succeed Math homework book, I want you to go to page 17, go to number 5, and we're going to do this problem together. And I want you to use the RDW method, which is the read it, draw it, write it method. So I've kind of drawn this one for you, but let me read the problem and then let me show you how we would do this. A large grocery store received an order of 2,000 apples. Okay, so you've noticed I put down here the grocery store. Okay, a neighboring school received an order of 20 boxes of apples with 100 each. Use digits or discs and have a little extra T there, on a place value chart to compare the number of apples received by the school and the number of apples received by the grocery store. So down here in the second part of our place value chart, we're going to put what the school had, and then we're going to compare that. Okay, so on number 5, I'd like to kind of draw out this place value chart to label and compare how many apples the grocery store had and how many apples the school had. So if you look at my place value chart, I see right here that the grocery store had 2,000 apples. And then I'm looking at the school and I see that I have 10 hundreds. And so if I counted that 100, 200, 300, I can regroup this and make 1,000. Okay, and then I have 10 more hundreds. I could regroup that one and I would make another 1,000. So after regrouping, I can see that 20 boxes of 100 or 20 100s is equal to 2,000. So actually, even though we wrote it differently, both the grocery store and the school had the same amount. In our last 2 lessons, we talked about multiplying by 10. Today, we're actually going to take and we're just going to be adding 2 multi-digit numbers on a place value chart. So remember, we're not multiplying by 10 right now. We're just adding 2 multi-digit numbers on a place value chart. When we add something, we call the parts that we add the add-in. So we can say we have the add-in plus the add-in equals the sum. And it's really important to know that because when you look at your instructions or your directions today, they're going to use the word add in, and that's what it means when they talk about add in. Okay, so let's take a look at this problem. We have 15 10,000s plus 11,000s. So I'm looking at those and I'm thinking, oh, we might need to do some regrouping. So let's take a look at that and see what that looks like. First, let's put in 15 10,000s on our place value chart. Okay, now I have 15 10,000s. Okay, I see. I have 10 and then 5 more. So I know that I can regroup my set of 10,000s and make a 100,000. So I'm going to circle my group of 10, and I'm going to regroup that and make a 100,000. Okay, so now we're going to take and we're going to add that together and see what we have. We're going to put 11,000 in the thousands column. Okay, so now I put in 11 in the thousands column. Okay, so look at the top. We had 15 10,000s plus 11,000. But as I look at my thousands, I'm thinking, oh, I have 10 of these. I can regroup to the 10,000. So I'm going to circle these 10. And I'm going to regroup and I'm going to make one more 10,000. Now remember, after we regroup, we can kind of X these out because we're not going to use those anymore. We regroup them into another place value column. So then let's just add and find out what do we have on our chart and what would be our answer to 15 10,000s and 11,000s. Okay, so I have 100,000 and I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 10,000s and 1,000. So we would write that 161,000. Remember, here's where we put our comma, and then we don't have anything over here, so we're going to put 0 0 0, and so our answer would be 161,000. 15 10,000s and 11,000s equals 161,000. Okay, so now let's try one in your homework book. Turn to page 15. We're going to do number 3A. Number 3A says 2,000 plus 1,200s. What does that equal? So let's put that on our place value chart. So first of all, we're going to put 2,000s, 1, 2. Oh, there's just 2. So do we have to do any grouping? No, not at this point. Okay, next we're going to put in 1,200s. So let's just do that and let's see what that looks like. Okay, now I have 12 in the hundreds column, so I think I'm going to have to do some regrouping there. So I'm going to circle my 10 hundreds, and I know that 10 hundreds is equal to 1,000, so I'm going to regroup that over to the thousands. I'm going to kind of put a mark through this so I know that I've regrouped it. I'm not going to count it in my answer. And so my answer would be 3,200. 3,002, and I have 0 10s and 0 1s. Okay, in the last two problems we did adding. Now don't get confused. We're going to go back and we're going to practice multiplying by 10 in the next slides. Okay, open your Succeed book, go to page 17, and we're going to do number 4C together. 4C says we have 27,300 5 ones multiplied by 10. Now remember, when we multiply by 10, we don't have to put all of those place value disc in there. We can just go across the line. Every time we take something across that place value line, we're multiplying by 10. So let's put our 27,000s, 300s, and 5 ones on our place value chart, and then let's take a look at that. Okay, so this is a little confusing. When I look at the thousands, I need to regroup before I multiply by 10. So that's a little confusing. So let's just first, before we multiply by 10, let's just regroup. The way that I would regroup is I would circle my 20 here. I know that 20,000, so I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to regroup. Now I have two 10,000. 1, 2, 20, 10,000. 20,000. So that would be two 10,000s. Okay, so I'm going to X this out because I just regrouped that. Now remember that when we multiply by 10, we can just put it over to the next place value. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it over. I'm going to put a times 10 here because that's what multiply by 10, that's what we just did. Okay, so let's put a little X through that. And then we're going to take these, this is a little, and we're going to go over here. We're going to put multiply by 10 because that's what we just did. We multiplied by 10, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to mark that out. So now look, in our thousands, we have 0 left. Okay, now I'm going to take my hundreds and I'm going to multiply times 10. Remember, multiply by 10, we just move it across the line. And we have 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to mark that out. We don't have any 10s to multiply, but we do have some 1s to multiply. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to multiply by 10. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we multiplied by 10. So if I look here, I can just follow my place value chart. I have 0 1s. How many 10s do I have? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 10s now because I multiplied my 5 1s by 10. So now I have 5 10s. Do I have any hundreds? No, but I have to put a 0 there to hold my place value. Okay, I'm going to put my comma. Now I'm looking over here. Do I have any thousands? Yes, I have 3,000. Okay, do I have any 10,000s? Yes, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And how about 100,000s? Yes, I have 2. Okay, so this is a little bit more complicated. Just take your time and think through each part of this. Okay, so now I want you to stop and try not 1, but let's just say you will try 2 by yourself. Turn to page 16 and do number 4A and 4B. And then tomorrow we'll take a look and see if you are understanding how to do this. Just take your time. Remember, go step by step. Okay, lastly, in your homework, you will see a chart similar to this. So let's just think about this. If I have 4 10s plus 8 10s, remember we talked about unit form today, and those are in unit form, so we want to write that in standard form. Okay, so if I have 4 10s plus 8 10s, that's going to equal 12 10s, and I know that 12 10s equals 120. Okay, if you need to draw that out, drawing 12 discs and then counting by 10s, 10, 20, 30, until you get to 12, then you will know that you have 120 is your standard form. Okay, so let's think about that with the next one. I have 800s and 500s. That would make 1300s. So remember that 10 hundreds equals 1,000. So your standard form would be 1,300. Okay, look at the thousands. So I'm going to look there and I have 4,000s and 9,000s. If I wrote that in unit form, I would have 13,000s. So if I write, this is a little bit easier because I can write 13. I think of my thousand, comma, and then I put in my 3 zeros. Okay, if you look at the last one, we have 7 10,000s plus 5 10,000s. So I know that 5 plus 7 is 12, so I'm going to have 12 10,000s. Okay, so if remember that 10 10,000s equals 100,000. So I'm going to put in my, that's my 12. Okay, if you need to draw out your 10,000s disc, and you can count up and see, because remember we would have our 10,000s, which would equal a 1 100,000, so we'd have 120,000. Okay, try this in your homework and we'll take a look at it tomorrow. You are amazing mathematicians, good problem solving. Take your time and do a good job. Goodbye.